Keep falling for you. Keep falling for you. Keep falling for you.
Hi guys, this is Raju Rahman from Tectonic. In today's video, I'll be taking a look at another Bluetooth game controller called the FlyDigi Wee 2T. This one's made to work with both iOS and Android, but of course, much like my other videos, I'll be testing this with Android as that's what I use. If this looks interesting, keep watching to find out more. The FlyDigi Wee 2T will cost you anything between £35 to £55 depending on where you order from. If you order from eBay, you could get it for as low as £35, but expect longer shipping time as it will most likely be shipping from China. Obviously, if you want it more quickly, you're better off buying from Amazon or a local seller on eBay. So opening the box, the first thing you'll find is the controller itself. Underneath that is the warranty leaflet, and you'll also find the manual, and finally a micro USB charging cable. The Wee 2, its predecessor, also came with a USB hub, kickstand and carrying bag, none of which come with the Wee 2T, which is a bit of a letdown, but they're not essentials, so it's not the end of the world. Connecting the controller to your phone is super easy. As always, make sure your Bluetooth on your phone is turned on. Turn on the controller by sliding the power switch up. When you see the blue light on the left flashing rapidly, it means the controller is in pairing mode. At this point, the controller should appear under available devices as FlyDigi Wee 2T. I think that's how you would pronounce it. Just go ahead and tap that. The blue light should go solid and it should say connected on your phone. Upon initially connecting to the controller, it goes into flash play mode, not classic mode, aka X input. I normally use X input mode to play games and emulators that support controllers natively without the use of additional software. However, with this controller, in order to go from flash play to X input, you need to download the FlyDigi Game Center app from the Play Store. Good thing is the app is free. After I uninstalled the app to do this demonstration, for some reason it's not in the Play Store anymore, so you'll have to download it by scanning the QR code on the back of the controller. This should take you to their website and download the APK for you, so just install that. I've got the Chinese version of the controller, so it downloaded the Chinese version of the app, so I'll have to download the app from their English website. Go ahead and open the app, allow all the permissions and agree to the notice. Then you need to authorize the FlyDigi Game Center by clicking Authorize Now and then tapping Allow Permission. After you've done that, go back to the app and tap on Return to Game Center. So you can see the controller is connected via flash play mode. Of course, if you're planning to play games like PUBG or Call of Duty, which don't natively support controllers, then this mode will work great, but more on that later. In order to connect to X input, you need to tap this area, then go to current mode and tap on Classic. Unlike the Saitake 7007X controller I reviewed a little while ago, in order to activate this particular controller you don't need a PC or an extra dongle, which is great. So as long as you have a USB cable around, you're good to go. You can see here it says it's inactive. Tap on Go to Settings. Tap on Classic. If you don't already have developer options enabled, you need to do that before you can enable USB debugging. So I've already got USB debugging enabled on my Galaxy Fold. I can undo it to show you, but since I haven't done it on my S20 Ultra, I'll show you on that. So go to your phone settings and scroll all the way to the bottom. You'll see About Phone. Keep in mind that after you've enabled developer options, it will appear under About Phone. Anyways, tap on About Phone, you'll see software information, tap on that, now you'll see build number, just tap on that 7 times and that's it. So now if you go back to settings, you'll see below About Phone you have developer options, tap on that, look for USB debugging and then enable, tap next, make sure the controller is turned off and connect your phone to the controller using a USB data cable, tap next and then turn the controller on. The green status light would repeatedly flash At this point, allow permissions for USB debugging. The green status light should become solid and activation is complete. You're now ready to play emulators and games which support controllers natively. X input mode also allows you to navigate the Android OS, so you won't have to use the touchscreen on your phone. With activation complete, you can switch between flash play or classic mode without activating again. And whatever mode you last left it in, it'll stay in that mode even when you turn off the controller and turn it back on again until you switch modes yourself. You'll need to activate it again if you restart your phone, but because you don't need a computer to activate, it's not too bad. This controller is pretty small in the hand, and even though it doesn't have any handles to grip on the bottom like the Saitake 707X, it's still comfortable to hold. So this is a telescopic spring-loaded controller. It'll hold your phone in the middle very firmly. The manufacturer states that it should fit any phone between 75 to 165 millimeters. My Galaxy S20 Ultra with a height of 166.9 millimeters can sort of be forced in. The camera bump on this phone obviously is an issue with this particular controller, so yeah, try and stick below the stated max height of 165mm and 8.5mm of thickness. As you can see, my Galaxy Fold with a height of 160.9mm and a thickness of 6.9mm fits perfectly. On the bottom right of the controller you have the power switch, status LED, the micro USB for charging the controller. On the bottom left hand side you'll find a Type A USB 3 port, supposedly USB 3 that is, can't be 100% sure. It's a normal full size USB port for using a keyboard and mouse. I personally won't be using it for that function, but as you saw earlier you'll be using this port when you need to activate classic mode for X input. You'll find all the usual controls here. You have dual analog sticks. They're a bit on the small side like the PSP Vita, and there's no L3 or R3, so you can't click the analog sticks down. However, in their place you have the Z and C buttons here. It has dual shoulder buttons, so you have the L1, R1, L2 and R2. The shoulder buttons are digital, so they're not pressure sensitive, so no control over acceleration in a racing game. It's either full throttle or nothing. You've got a full-size D-pad with a pivot point in the middle, 4 face buttons, X, A, B and Y, start and select buttons, and finally the FlyDigi button. All the buttons offer a tactile feeling and satisfying click. The D-pad has a good pivot and is very responsive. There's no separation between the directions, so it feels much better when you're trying to pull off special moves in beat-em-ups. Having used the Saitake 707X before this, which to be honest is a great controller, only let down by its really bad analog sticks, I didn't expect the Wii 2T's analog sticks to be great, but I was pleasantly surprised to see how precise it is. Yes, they're a tad bit small, but as you can see from testing the axes, there's hardly any dead zone, which makes it such a joy to play first person shooters like Call of Duty. If we have to nitpick, I wish they offered a little more resistance, as they do feel a little loose, but it's hands down more accurate than the Saitake 707X. The Wii 2T also features a built-in 6-axis gyroscope for motion sensing. This feature is pretty cool to show off, however, whilst it works better than you'd expect, it's pretty much a gimmick and I didn't use it much after the initial stages of trying it out. I've tried this controller in X input mode with various game streaming services like Project XCloud, Stadia, Geforce Now and Steam Link, and it works great with all of them. I mean, yes, I would have preferred proper L3 and R3 buttons instead of the Z and C buttons, but they do work okay as an alternative. All the emulators I tried worked without any setup. This included Pizza Boy GBA, MD.mu, Drastic, PPSSPP, worked right out the box. Unfortunately, I just couldn't get Dolphin Emulator to work with this controller. It works fine with the Saitake 707X, so I'm not sure what's going on here. As shown earlier, the Wii 2T has a companion app called the FlyDigi Game Center. You'll need this app to switch between Flash Play and Classic modes. You can also update the firmware of the controller via the app. It also allows you to map the physical controls onto the touchscreen controls and play games which don't natively support controllers. It's not a unique feature exclusive to this app, as you can also use Panda to map controls, but the activation with that app is a pain, and FlyDigi also claims that their app is undetectable, so you apparently won't be banned in games like PUBG. Regardless, use at your own risk. A great thing about this app is that for certain games, FlashPlay automatically maps the buttons to the on-screen controls for you, so there's no need to configure them. When I start the game, you can see the overlay of the map buttons. If the overlay is distracting you, you can always disable them by pressing the FlyDigi button. And if those controls aren't automatically mapped, there's a floating widget you can tap or just press the select button to bring up the settings. This will allow you to load mapping presets, or you can just set up your own. It's pretty easy to use. The Bluetooth connectivity has worked really good for me. I've not experienced any disconnections, and as you can see from the following test, every key I press lights up on screen straight away. I know that's not a very scientific test, but if there is any lag, it's something I haven't noticed, so that's a good thing. The controller has a built-in 300 mAh battery, which FlyDigi claims should be good for around a remarkable 80 hours of gaming. I've been playing for weeks on a single charge, so I'm inclined to believe FlyDigi's claim. With that much battery life, you won't have to worry at all, as your phone will give up its ghost before the controller does. It also takes just over 3 hours to charge the controller, which for a 300 mAh battery does seem a bit long, but even a 60 minutes charge will give you plenty of juice to play for hours. So what are my final thoughts on this controller? It's very compact and easy to carry around, but as a result things feel a little cramped together. It's easy to activate without the need for a computer or dongle. That means as long as you have a data cable with you, you can activate it anywhere, though that shouldn't be necessary unless you restart your phone. The analog sticks are very accurate, although not as good as a PlayStation or Xbox controller. It's still great for first-person shooters. I just wish they were a little larger and provided some more resistance. It's got superb battery life, so no battery anxiety while playing games. Overall, this is an all-round great controller that works well with all types of games and services. It's a shame you can't boot straight into X input mode without initially activating the controller, but because the activation process is super easy, I can let that pass. I've personally enjoyed using the FlyDigi Wee 2T. I definitely recommend this one. Just bear in mind the issue with Dolphin Emulator. If you're interested, I've placed a link to the Amazon product page in the description below. If you guys want me to review any other Bluetooth controller, leave a comment below and let me know what you guys think of the Wee 2T. This has been Raju Rahman from Tectonic. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and it helped you, please subscribe and like. That would really help me out. And don't forget to check out these other videos too.